Okay. Let's change the view. Okay. Right, we'll start sitting as always then. So if you're comfortable sitting on the floor, or Sue, if you're okay like that, or you can sit on the bed, whatever is most comfortable. We're going to start with a little bit of a tune in. Bring ourselves into present moment awareness. So rest your hands down on your knees and softly close the eyes. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. And gently just imagine the spine pulling up out of the tail, reaching up through the crown so we're not slouched. And relax the jaw. Keeping your eyes and your lips softly sealed. Body resting in stillness, but at the same time nice and alert. We'll just spend a minute or two checking in with ourselves. So just ask yourself, how is the body feeling physically at the moment? We'll do a quick scan of the body and just see if there's any areas that feel particularly tight. Then check in with yourself mentally. So just noticing the busyness of the mind, or maybe you're feeling very clear and light in your head. So just noticing, we're not striving to do anything, we're just noticing how is your mind. You might ask yourself how you're feeling emotionally. Whatever comes up, we accept that with some kindness. Then switch the awareness to your breath. Just noticing the rhythm that your breath has settled into. Is the breath shallow or deep? No right or wrong, just noticing. And as you breathe, can you feel the gentle movement, the gentle lifting in your chest, very subtle, as you breathe in. And then that nice melting feeling as you exhale. So bringing our awareness to the breath every now and then, as if breath was the most important thing in your life, because it is. We're going to turn the hands around now so that the backs of the hands are resting on the knees. Palms facing up. Hi, Anne, welcome. And we're going to do 10 breaths. So this is like a 10 breath meditation. So the way we do this is we're going to use the thumb to press against each tip of the finger, starting with the pinky, moving to the ring finger, the middle finger, and the forefinger. And each time we press gently on the fingertip, we take a breath. So that means we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the fifth breath will be all fingers open, nothing touching. And we'll do that twice. So that means 10 breaths. Some people like to count the breath. I find sometimes for me personally that interferes with the breath. So this is a nice way to get the 10 breaths, as well as using the hand mudra without having to count. So just adjust the way you're sitting again, pulling up on the spine, make sure the shoulders are relaxed. And then as you press against the pinky, so thumb against the pad on the fingertip of the pinky, we're going to inhale through the nose. Hold it. And then release it slowly. Let go of the pinky as you hold the breath and move to the ring finger. When you make contact, inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale through the nose or the mouth. Hold it there as you release the ring finger and place the middle finger against the thumb. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Change fingers. Inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale. Hold. Release all fingers, palms open. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Press the thumb to the pinky again. Inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale. Hold the breath there. Take the ring finger. Inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale. Hold the breath out. Change to the middle finger. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold the breath out. Change to the forefinger. Inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale. Release the touch, palms open. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale normally and relax. Okay. So now to move, we're going to stand to begin with tonight. Is that right? Yes. So we'll start loosening up the body. So get yourself to standing. I'm going to adjust the screen so you can see. So nice and slowly, don't rush. Right, I'm going to derobe. So we're going to start with the earth sequence, the standing earth sequence we did a couple of weeks ago. Can everybody see all right? Yeah? Okay, cool. So you might not remember it, don't worry. We'll revisit it. This, by the way, is the last class of this winter series that we were doing. So do you remember at the beginning of this sequence, at the beginning of the series of classes, we were talking how in winter we do all that lovely grounding, earth kind of touching and connecting poses in winter. So this is the last of those classes. So we'll just go back on some of the things we did, and then when we start back in March, we'll be doing spring poses. So just following what nature naturally gives us, you know. So coming into spring, we'll be more energized, and so our yoga will reflect that. So coming back to our earth sequence, we stand 2 feet flat on the floor. So just make sure the toes are pressing into the floor, outsides of the feet, making a connection with the floor. And then pull back on the shoulders, a little bit opening the chest. Legs feeling nice and strong. So you're grounding down in through the feet. Shoulders are away from the ears and a little bit back. Then we're going to interlace the fingers. And then inhaling to take the hands up towards the chest. Exhaling to push the palms away to the floor. Inhaling to take the arms up overhead, so locking out the elbows as far back as you can go. Nice reach, really opening out. And then exhaling to rain down the hands, so nice and slowly. Each time moving mindfully. So we're going to do that one more time. We'll do everything twice. First to show you, and secondly to do it together with breath. So interlacing the fingers again. We're going to inhale, take the palms up towards the chest. Exhale, push towards the floor. Inhale, arms overhead, lengthening the whole torso. And exhale to rain down the hands. Great. Take the left foot out wide, right foot out wide. Interlace the fingers. We're going to turn the toes out as well, because this is the one we come into a squat. So to make it a little bit easier, turn the toes out. Pull in the tummy. Interlace the fingers. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to push as we bend the knees, push the hands down. They don't have to come all the way to the floor, just to where you feel a little uncomfortable. Then inhale, all the way back up, straight legs, bring the arms overhead, and rain the hands down. Inhale. Exhale, bend those knees, strong thighs. Inhale. Energy rising up through the body, and then exhale, slowly and mindfully rain down those hands. Keep the legs wide now as we turn the left foot in, right foot all the way out to the side. Turn the hips as well. So we're facing over the right foot, straight legs. Interlace the fingers, inhale. Exhale, bend the front knee, push away the thighs and the palms again, leaning out to the left in a diagonal. To the right, sorry, it's my left. We keep getting that wrong. Inhale, straight up, straight legs. And exhale, rain the hands down, turn back to the center. Right, and then we're going to turn the feet the other way. So right foot turning in, left foot turning the full 90 degrees. Hips turning as well. Interlace fingers. Straight legs, inhale. Exhale, bend into that left knee now. Stretch out the arms, push away the palms. Inhale, straight legs overhead. And exhale, rain down the hands, come back to the front. Okay, let's take the hands behind now.
So we're interlacing the hands behind. As you do that, just roll back each shoulder one by one. So you're really making the collarbones wide. The feet will be parallel. And you want to feel as though the shoulder blades are sort of, you could pinch a pencil between your shoulder blades. Okay. So as we inhale, we're going to lift those lower front ribs. So lift the ribs up, lift the chin as well, open out the throat. Exhale here. So don't worry too much about the breath, as long as you're not holding your breath. I want you to really feel those lower floating ribs lifting up. The heart space is shining directly up to the sky. Throat is open. And on your next exhale, release the hands. Bend the knees softly a little bit, not fully bent, just keep them soft. And we're going to take the arms and cross them over. So your left hand will come onto your right knee, right hand onto the left knee. And then simply drop your head down. So we're not trying too hard to do anything. The effect here, of what we want to feel, is that the upper back is opening. So between the shoulder blades now is wide. Take a couple of breaths here. Let the head fall, so no tension in the neck at all. Nice. Now what you're going to do is release the left hand and let it fall down by your side. And with your right hand still on the opposite knee, you're going to slide the elbow of that hand along. So what you want really is the elbow of the right arm to be resting on the right knee, with the fingertips on the opposite knee. So if you want to look at the video, you'll see what I mean. So the upper arm of the right arm is parallel to the floor. Keeping the knees soft, then we're just going to take that left arm and bring it, so we're twisting the whole upper body to bring that left arm vertically up. If you can, turn your head as well to look up towards the thumb. Good, so a lovely nice twist in the middle back and the upper back. So you should be able to feel those shoulder blades coming close to one another again, opening the chest. As you exhale, slowly and mindfully take that hand back to cross over. And we're going to change sides. So taking the right arm and let it fall down by your side. Left hand now is on the right knee, left elbow on the left knee. Inhale then to twist to take the right arm vertically. And as you exhale then, allow both arms to fall towards the floor. Take hold of the elbows on both sides. So crossing over the arms and taking hold of both elbows. And now imagine that the whole of your upper body is really heavy. And as you exhale, allow it to drift a little closer to the floor, keeping those knees soft, both feet flat on the floor. Head nice and loose. And in doing so, we want to feel the lower back opening up. In and out through the nose. And then slowly, with the power of your legs, if there's any left in them, roly-poly your arms up. Roll them around and come up. Really good. So nice strong legs. That's a tough one. Okay, well done. Bring the legs a little closer together now, about hip width apart. I'm going to turn to the side. And we're going to bend the knees again, so nice and soft.
And we're going to lift the arms up overhead, keeping them parallel, reaching up through the fingertips. And then very, very slowly, bending at the hips, not at the waist. So try to bend at the hips, as if you're taking your chest down onto the fronts of your thighs.
Roll down as far as you can. Keep the knees soft so that the knuckles, the backs of the hands, rest on the floor gently. Let the head fall. And if you feel you can at this point, place your fingertips on the floor and try to straighten out the backs of the legs. Uttanasana, or forward fold. So really good for getting rid of any stress. Also good for high blood pressure.
Good. Let the head hang down.
So with the inhale here, we're really finding the extension in the lower back. So each in-breath, feel that extension. And then slowly roll yourself back up
to standing. Okay, well done. Let's take the hands behind the head now. When we take the hands behind the head, we're going to interlace the fingers and bring the thumbs together. So it's kind of this shape. Okay. And you're going to bring the palms flat against the back of the neck, so that that triangle of your thumbs is facing down onto the spine and the neck. So you can gently massage that while you're there. Okay, feet together. So we're going to work a little bit on the shoulders now. The legs should feel nice and warmed up. So this is called, well, I call it when I'm teaching kids, this is called elephant ears. So we'll call it elephant ears. I don't know if it has a name. So as we inhale, we're going to open the ears really, really wide. So again, feeling those shoulder blades come together. And as you exhale, dip the chin down a little bit and bring the elbows towards each other. Just do another 2 of those. Inhaling. Nice and wide. And exhaling, dipping down. So we're only moving the neck and the arms here, nothing else. Inhaling to open wide and exhaling to dip down. Leave the hands where they are, but bring your head back to the center. And allow your right hand to fall away, the right arm to fall away. You're going to hold it out a little bit from the body, the palm facing in towards the body. Check in with your breath. And then scoot your hand over onto your right ear, the top of your right ear. And then gently leaning the head to the left. Now, when I say the head, I just mean the head, so we're not going to pull our whole body to one side, just the head. It's a very subtle movement. So the left ear in the direction of the left elbow, and that right arm pulling away. So you should feel that lovely stretch all the way from your wrist up your arm into your elbow, into the shoulder and into the neck. Easing away any stress there. So at all times, you're really connecting with your breath, but also with what's happening inside your body. So at the moment, focusing on the neck, how does that feel? Do I need to go a little bit further? Do I need to release it a bit? Does this feel good or not? All the time curious and kind. So if it is painful, release it. And then we change sides. So taking the right hand onto the left ear and letting the left arm fall away and away from the body. And that's just that gentle tipping of the head. Just enough to feel a little bit of a strain, a little bit of a stretch. Strain is probably not the right word. A nice stretch. So it should feel like it's doing some good.
And release the hand, take the head back to the center, both arms out to the sides. And then just release the hands behind. So this time you can interlace the fingers, we're very loose. So nothing too fancy here. And then what we're going to do is, I call this the hair flick. Do you remember in the old days when you had a big flick and you just flick the head like that? We're going to do that in slow motion. So it's like we're looking up and away to the right. Keep the shoulders down. So it's another neck stretch, but in a different place. It's more to the front of the neck here. And then very slowly in slow motion, do the hair flick to the other side. Hold it, breathing as always. I like when I'm inhaling to try to direct the inhale to the area that we're working on. Great, and release that. You can roll out the shoulders, shake out the hands. And we'll flick the fingers out. We often forget about our fingers. They do a lot of work. So now and then, just give them a little bit of a flick and a bit of a shake. All right. So a little bit of balancing now, back to the legs. So feet are not quite together, but not hip width apart either. So just finding yourself a nice comfortable place to stand so that the weight of the body is evenly measured between both feet. Keep the tummy engaged as much as you can, the abdomen muscles engaged if you can. Keep the shoulders back and the chest wide. We're going to press into the left side now, bringing all your weight into the left side and taking the right knee up, so right foot off the floor. And we're just going to gently hold that at the front with our hands. So don't worry if you're not completely balanced at first. Or, yeah, good, Jackie, if you need to hold on to something, do. So holding it here, I'm going to rotate the ankle while it's up. So just feeling if there's any tightness or tiredness in the ankle, wake it up. Get all the joint fluid moving one way and then change direction and move the other way. Right. So now we're going to let the hands go. Keep the knee where it is. Take the hands onto the hips. Well done. And then pointing out that right foot, we're going to point and flex and point and flex and point and flex and bring it slowly back down to meet the left leg. Great. Okay, other side now, leaning into the right side, taking the left knee up, holding gently. So be careful here. I often find when I hold here, I'm putting loads of pressure on my fingers. So actually that's not very good because then you're building tension in your arms. So just hold lightly. We'll start the ankle rotations again. Notice if this ankle feels any different to the other one. And the other way. Hands on the hips. Good balance. And then point and flex and point and flex. Point and flex and slowly down to meet and bring the balance back to both feet. All right. I'm going to stick with balance for a moment with the right leg again, leaning into the left side. This time we're going to curl the knee backwards and take hold of the foot behind. So holding onto the foot of the ankle, see can you bring that knee back in line with the left knee. So if you feel this is enough, you can take the foot back down or you can hold it a little bit longer. Release the left hand and take the left hand up alongside the ear, straight arm all the way up. Lifting from the tail, spine nice and long. So that continuous line from your left ankle all the way up the side body and straight up through the left arm. Great. Exhale
As we take the arm down, don't bring the foot to the floor. We're going to take the right arm onto the hip, take hold of the knee that's in the air, and we're going to pull it towards us, pull it towards the left side. Release the right arm, take the right arm behind. And come back down to the floor. Didn't realize how hard it would be to do this as you're to do it and talk at the same time. Okay, we'll try the other side. So we're going to take the left foot off the floor, hold it in behind, other hand on the hip. So find your balance, find your strength, find your length. Remember to keep those collarbones wide, shoulders back. And then release the right hand and extend up through the right side. Pointing the fingers up. So again, yes, that's it. And Jackie, anybody else who needs to take hold of a chair, because it's the balance is not the important thing. The important thing is the opening, the length, creating lots of space to take those breaths in. 2 more breaths here. Reaching up, strong leg, grounding down through that right foot. Right, release that. And before you take the foot to the floor, take hold of that left knee, pull it towards the right side, and then open the left arm out to the back, twisting. 2, 3, 1 more breath. And exhale, slowly bring both feet to the floor. Right, we shake out the legs. And I think we're going to move into that lovely winter earth sequence that we've been doing the last couple of weeks. So I think the fact that we've started it, we should finish it so that everybody is comfortable with it. So tonight we're going to break it down really, really slowly, and we're going to practice on the transitions from pose to pose, because I think that's the area that's creating a problem for everybody, or for most of us anyway. Everybody here is able for all of the poses, but it's the transitioning from one to the other that's difficult. So we're going to break it down, do it slowly, and we'll give options for people who want to continue it and do it in a more fluid way, and but we'll slow it down for everybody else. Okay. So let's come down. We'll start on all fours, and we're going to loosen up the back first to get started. So onto hands and knees. Spread the fingers out wide. I'm going to get some water. So fingers out nice and wide. What we're going to do is just release the back a little bit, so you can give a little bit of a cow cat, which we're used to doing. And sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit more less structured, if you like, or a little bit playful, what I like to do is just move the hips from side to side, or even make circles with the hips. So we're just going to play with that for a minute with the cat-cow. So you can move in whatever way feels good. What we really want to do here is just loosen up the back and the spine. So you can press your hands in to bring the spine up towards the ceiling. And then you might like to flick back to the cow pose and lifting the tail. Or you might feel a little bit of playfulness and move between the two. So whatever you're doing, don't worry, I'm not watching and nobody else is. So just feel that you're getting some movement in the hips, the shoulders, and the spine before we start the sequence. Don't forget the neck. Okay. So we're going to come to sit on the heels. As always, prop something in there between the heels and the bottom if it makes it more comfortable for you.
Toes pointed away, hands resting on the thighs. Pull back the shoulders, reach the spine up. So everything is feeling active here. So the first pose is this one, where we take the arms directly overhead and we're pushing momentum up through the thighs, up into the upper body. Arms coming straight up. Palms are facing in towards each other. So this is the first pose. So here we want to feel the energy rising all the way from our knees into our thighs, up the hips, the side body, into the armpits, and then flowing out the tops of our fingertips. And then slowly just come back to the first pose here. So let the arms just melt down. Hips come back down to sit on the heels. So we're just going to try that about 4 times to feel the strength in the legs. And if 4 is too many, stop after 2. So just listen to your body. Here we go. So inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, raining down. Inhaling, come up. Exhale, rain down. 2 more. And up. Exhale down. Last one, if you feel like giving a little bit of a back bend, by all means, extend the stretch. And exhale down. Okay, so that's the first one. From here, in the sequence, what we normally do is come down into child's pose, extended child's pose like this. So that might be a struggle. So what we can do instead is, after we've done this, we can come back to this. And then we can slide the hands along. So you can do this with me. Palms on the floor. Slide the palms along the floor until the head comes towards the floor. It doesn't have to touch the floor. That's great if it does, but maybe for now, let the head hover. So this is the second part of it. Then we're going to move into a tabletop pose. So I think everybody is able for this, keeping the hands where they are. Press into the hands, put the energy into the legs to come up onto your hands and knees. Okay, so we're all able for that. Now here's where we run into problems, because this is the part where those of you who are able can follow me on this. We're going to roll the upper arms out so that the inside elbow shines forward. We bend the elbows towards the body and take the sternum and the chin to the floor. And from here then, we let the belly come to the floor, leave the hands where they are, and come up to cobra. Okay, if that's just not accessible to you at the moment, that's fine, because I have an option. So back onto your hands and knees. What we can do instead to get from here to cobra is come onto our elbows. So forearms flat on the floor. Everybody okay with that? And then to be able to bring our belly to the floor, we'd like to get our legs out straight. So bring the left leg out straight, tuck the toes into the mat, and then the right leg, and then let the belly come to the floor. And from here then, point the toes away, slide the hands back underneath the shoulders, elbows off the floor, press into the floor and lift up into cobra. Okay, so do you want to try that again? Anybody who's able for the quicker one or the more fluid one, you can continue with that and just practice it a few times into cobra. Otherwise, back into tabletop pose. Bring the elbows to the floor, forearms to the floor, palms out wide. And then straighten out the legs so you're in a plank pose. Now this is tricky. I mean, it's hard enough to hold this, so we're not going to hold it for long at all. You're just getting to here so that you can lower the body to the floor. Then slide the hands underneath, point the toes away, and lift into cobra. Shoulders away. Remember, always in cobra, don't collapse your chin or your neck into your shoulders. Lift up. Nice long neck. Okay, really well done. So from here then, Where are we going from here? Oh yeah, from here we're going into dog pose. So it goes from child to cobra to dog. So those of you who are more experienced can come straight up into dog pose and hold it there for as long as your body can take it. Anybody else from cobra? What we can do is, if you still have the strength in your arms, push back up into your tabletop. So let this be your base pose all of the time. Then curl your toes under, lift the knees off the floor and come into dog pose that way. So a little bit easier. Okay, just come down onto your knees. Now take a break for a minute. Shake out your wrists if you need to. Jackie, are you still with us? Or she disappeared? Okay. So we went from, I'll just run through that with you again. We started with this, then we come down into child's pose. Then we come up into tabletop. Then we come down into sternum and chin, into cobra, then into dog. Okay, if you want to take the slower option, we'll come in like this, and down to here, and slide the hands, then into tabletop, and taking the forearms to the floor, legs out into plank, easing down slowly, hands underneath, lifting to cobra, back into tabletop, curl the toes, lift the knees, and into dog pose. So a little bit easier. You'll be getting the video, obviously, so you'll be able to do all of that again. Right, so now we have to come back. So from dog pose, we're going to come back to cobra pose, then into child's pose, and then we finish as we started. Okay. So from dog pose, if you're ready, find your fingers on the floor, nice and wide as always in dog pose. Curl the toes, lift into dog pose. Let's hold it here for a minute. Let's really feel dog pose. The best pose of all, I think, if you just held dog pose for 5 or 6 breaths and do that about 10 times a day. It's flexible as a 5-year-old child. Okay, so holding dog pose, nice, with the tail reaching up. So from here, we've got to come back to cobra. So we're going to take the knees back to the floor, leave the hands where they are. They're in a perfect position. Point the toes away. So again, for anyone who feels that they can do it, you're going to bring the sternum and the chin to the floor and roll up into cobra pose. Anybody who finds that a little bit of a struggle today, that's okay. We're going to go back to what we did before. We bring the forearms to the floor, wide hands, then straight legs and bring the body flat to the floor. Point the toes away, slide the hands underneath the shoulders and lift into cobra. Okay, we're going to come back then into our child's pose. So we're going from dog to cobra to child's pose. So anybody who feels very flexible, you can literally press into your hands, lift lift the bum and sit back onto the heels. Anybody who struggles a bit with that, well, we're going to do it, but just much slower. So from your cobra pose, you're going to press with the hands and come onto all fours. And then slowly allow yourself to sit back into the heels. And then for those of us who have a little bit of strength, we're going to come straight up, bringing the hands and the upper body straight up vertically. Bring the hands into namaste and sit back on the heels to finish. Okay, if you're feeling you don't have that strength at the moment, that's okay. So we come from child's pose. You can just slide the hands back and curl yourself up slowly. Still has the same benefits. And then strong legs to lift up. Hands into namaste.
and relax. Okay, 7:20. So what I'll do is I have both of those recorded, the slow version and then the more fluid version. So I'll send both of them to everybody and then you can choose which one you want, or don't do it at all, whatever suits. But it's a really nice grounding sequence to have. Just at those times when you feel particularly untethered, you know, where you're maybe over anxious or feeling ungrounded, it's powerful, like it really is. So try that. Okay, so we're going to leave that, and when we come back in March, we're going to work on the sun salutation for spring. So that's a standing sequence. Some of you will already know it, but again, a powerful sequence to do when you need energy. Okay, let's lie on our backs. And we'll just work out the spine a little bit before we rest. So allow yourself to rest down on the mat. Keep the knees bent, feet about hip width apart. So just let your body rest for a moment or two. Watch where your mind is going. So if you're wandering away into thinking about what's on telly tonight or what you're going to have for dinner, don't waste this precious time that you have to yourself thinking about something later on. Just take a moment to bring yourself back into present moment awareness. So notice how your body feels. And then with your arms away from your body, palms facing up, feet flat to the floor, just let the knees fall to the right, look to the left. Bring them back to the center now. Let them fall to the left, roll your head to the right. Bring the knees back to the center, head to the center. Lift the feet off the floor. Bring the knees towards your chest and place your hands flat down on your kneecaps. And pull the knees in tightly, lifting the tailbone off the floor. Exhale here. As you inhale, press the knees away, keeping your hands on the knees. Feel the upper body expand, and then as you exhale, draw the knees back in towards the chest. Tilt the chin down a little bit. Inhale, push the knees away, keeping your hands on the kneecaps, knees bent, feet off the floor. Exhale, draw the knees in. So a few more like this in your own time. Rolling back and forward on the lower back. And you might like to circle the knees so that you're getting the sides of the pelvis massaging off the heart floor. And you can change direction. Deep breathing. Bring both feet to the floor. Let the arms fall down by your sides. Straighten out the legs, sliding the feet along your mat. On your next inhale, take both arms straight up over your head to land on the ground behind you. Stretching away from your body, from the shoulders. So extending the length of your upper body. And then point the toes away to extend the length of the legs. So feeling the whole length and stretch of the body. And the next exhale, just relax. The arms and legs and feet fall wherever they are. And then you can prepare yourself for rest, so you can stay exactly as you are, or if you're a little bit chilly, or if the room is likely to get a little cold, get a jumper or a scarf or a pair of fluffy socks. And then find yourself back on your mat when you're ready. So we'll just take about 7 or 8 minutes of relaxation. There's been a lot of talk lately about hope, because there's hope in the air with vaccines and summer and all these lovely things coming our way. And something came to me. I was reading some notes I had, and I was at a retreat during just after Christmas, and one of the facilitators was saying that sometimes hope is related to fear. And in this case, maybe a lot of our hope is related to fear, because we're hoping for the best outcome for fear that, that the virus will continue, or that we'll get sick, or someone we know will get sick. And when that happens, then the hope is, the hope creates contraction in our bodies rather than lightness. Hope should make us feel light. So the message I get from that, I suppose, is that when we are hopeful, be careful what we're relating it to. It's a bit like, when someone says, oh, I hope my son or daughter becomes a doctor so that they'll be really rich. So that hope is set in some fear that your child won't be rich enough. Instead of, I hope my child lives to the fullness of their ability. It's words, but those words have effects on us. So I guess the hope has to have some kindness attached to it. There's a lot of bad words associated with the pandemic, of course. So language is very important. We're constantly being reminded of restrictions and lockdowns and exams cancelled and shops closed. They're all very nasty words that make us feel contracted. So be aware of that and balance that with some kindness and positivity language. It all comes back to compassion, really, doesn't it? That the hope must be linked to compassion. And we have an unlimited amount of compassion. Compassion is infinite. And compassion leads to spaciousness, openness. So let us lie for the next few minutes with that feeling of kindness and compassion for ourselves. And when we think of compassion for ourselves, physically we feel a space, kind of We drop into that space in our body where you can feel compassion, where it's sort of a felt sense. And when we allow ourselves into that space, then there is space for healing. And it's really simple, really, isn't it? I mean, it's like breath is so simple. That healing comes from just letting the wound alone, just not messing with the wound. So, in this sense, this stillness that we practice in yoga, that stillness allows us to drop into that space of compassion for ourselves. And that space allows for healing, natural healing, emotional healing, physical healing. If we just leave ourselves alone and practice more stillness. Okay, so slowly take your awareness back to the room. Bring a little bit of movement back into your body. Allow yourself to rock from side to side with your knees bent, and in your own time then, and come back to sitting.